2024 has come to a close, and what a year it's been for movies. From big-budget blockbusters to thought-provoking indie gems, this year took audiences on a cinematic journey that spanned every genre. Whether you're a fan of intense thrillers, heartwarming dramas, or mind-bending sci-fi, 2024 had something for everyone. In today's video, I'm counting down the films that I thought were the best of the year, the ones that not only defined their genres, but also pushed the boundaries of storytelling. Let's kick things off by revealing my 5 runner-ups. Now on to my best movies of 2024, starting with number 10, Bob Marley, One Love. Bob Marley, One Love chronicles the inspiring true story of reggae legend Bob Marley, showcasing his rise above adversity and his enduring message of love and unity that has resonated across generations. Set against the backdrop of political turmoil in Jamaica, the film takes place during the creation of Marley's landmark album, Exodus, with his band The Wailers. Kingsley Ben-Adir portrays Bob Marley, who was caught in the middle of political conflict, navigating the pressures of being hailed as the voice of his generation, while facing constant threats to his life. Lashana Lynch plays Rita, Marley's wife, who is forced to deal with their strained relationship, raising their children alone while also being an integral part of the band. Bob Marley's family was deeply involved in the making of this film, which I think significantly influenced Ben-Adir's performance and helped to provide deeper insight into who Marley was as a person, beyond just a performer. I felt like he truly embodied the reggae legend, and it was especially impactful that he performed much of the singing in the film himself. Lashana Lynch did a great job evoking the emotions of Marley's wife, who struggled to live in his shadow. The film could have easily painted her as an innocent victim of his success and fame, as most musical biopics do, but instead it offers a more honest portrayal, acknowledging her flaws as well. Bob Marley, One Love received mixed reviews, though mostly positive. Some critics felt the film was disjointed as it attempted to cover too many key moments of his life. However, I saw it differently. I thought the film flowed very well and was truly inspiring, as moments like the flashbacks to his childhood were crucial in helping the audience understand the man he would become and the inspiration behind his iconic songs. Number 9, Transformers 1. Transformers 1 is one of those movies where the trailer made it look kind of silly and aimed at a really young audience, so I wasn't in a rush to see it in theaters. But after it was released, I heard a lot of good things about it, so I thought I'd give it a chance, and I'm really glad that I did. I grew up watching the original 80s Transformers animated series, so I'm pretty familiar with these characters, and after all the movies and series reboots over the years, I think it's safe to say we all know the general story of the Transformers by now. Transformers 1, though, tells the story from a different point of view. This is an origin story of friends and fellow miners Orion Pax and D-16, better known as Optimus Prime and Megatron, before they became sworn enemies, fighting over the future of Cybertron. I was genuinely surprised by how much I enjoyed the story about their friendship and the adventure they go on. We all know that these two are eventually going to have a falling out, but I really like this fresh take on these characters. The dynamics between them felt genuine. Seeing them as close allies, like brothers who get each other into trouble and just as often get each other out of it, made these characters even more interesting to me. I also thought Chris Hemsworth and Brian T. Henry did a great job voicing Pax and D-16. When I first heard that they were cast, I wasn't sure if they were the right fit, but I have to admit their voices end up suiting the characters well. I was also skeptical when I first saw the animation, but after watching the movie, it was another pleasant surprise. This is ILM's first animated feature in years, and it's clear that a lot of hard work and talent went into making the film look as spectacular as it does. I'm definitely excited to see what else ILM can do in the feature animation space. So for me, the story, animation, and voice acting all worked, but what really sets the movie apart and earns it a spot on my list is how incredibly well the story was written. The adventure these characters go on is heartfelt, and even though we know Pax and D-16 aren't going to remain best friends forever, the story still manages to pack a lot of heart for a movie about robots. Number 8, Superman, the Christopher Reeve story. To be honest, I love documentaries. I watch a ton of them every year, and it's easy for them to start feeling a little formulaic, especially when it comes to celebrity documentaries. But what really makes a doc stand out is when the subject becomes something bigger or more meaningful than you expected going in. That's exactly how I felt watching Superman, the Christopher Reeve story. As a huge Superman fan, Christopher Reeve was one of my childhood heroes. He was my Superman. As someone who's always been fascinated by the filmmaking process, I've seen just about everything there is on the making of his Superman movies. Through that, I've also learned a lot about Reeve as a person. I remember when he suffered his devastating spinal cord injury, and coincidentally, I had just finished watching his movie Somewhere in Time when the news broke that he passed away. So when this documentary was released, I didn't think there was much more that I could learn about the man who played Superman, but I couldn't have been more wrong. The Christopher Reeve story is not just about Reeve's personal fight to regain movement and walk again, it's also about his entire family's commitment to helping others affected by spinal cord injuries. One of the things that I learned was that he and his wife, Dana Reeve, had an incredible love story. She dedicated her life to supporting her husband's The Christopher Reeve Foundation, advocating for scientific breakthroughs in the search for a cure, and worked tirelessly to improve the lives of others living with paralysis. I found the film deeply moving. Christopher Reeve was a genuinely humble man who brought joy to countless people. Even in the face of his life-changing injury, he fully embraced the responsibility of wearing the symbol of hope on his chest. He didn't hide from the public or give up. Instead, he and his family continued to inspire and support people around the world affected by paralysis. To me, that's the real definition of a superhero. Number 7, Strange Darling. Here's a movie that a lot of people missed. Strange Darling tells the story of a twisted one-night stand that spirals out of control. And that's really all I'm gonna say about the plot, because this is the kind of movie that's best experienced the less you know about it. I honestly don't know why this movie didn't get reviewed by all the big-name critics, or why it hasn't appeared on more top 10 lists, but I do know why it's on mine. Strange Darling is clearly inspired by the early films of Quentin Tarantino. You can definitely tell from the way the story is structured and how the sequences unfold. Writer-director J.T. Molnar is clearly influenced by Tarantino's signature stylized non-linear storytelling. And like Tarantino movies, Strange Darling features a strong female character, unique camera angles, and long takes of dialogue, delivered intensely by Willa Fitzgerald and Kyle Gallner, whose two characters are really the only focus of the movie. And let me tell you, they deliver two of the heaviest performances I've seen all year. Willa Fitzgerald completely blew me away in this film. Before this, I had only seen her in the series Reacher, which I also highly recommend, but I had no idea of the depth of her talent. I think her performance in Strange Darling is going to be a complete game changer for her career, and I can't leave out Kyle Gallner. He's been acting for a while, mostly in supporting roles like Smile and Jennifer's Body, but in this film, a lot of the focus is on what his character will do next. His work in this movie is probably his best yet. Strange Darling is a thriller unlike any other I saw in 2024. The story is original with plenty of twists and turns designed to keep you on the edge of your seat. Number 6, The Wild Robot. The Wild Robot is a movie I never expected to be on this list. To be honest, I'm not a big fan of movies with talking animals. They're just not my thing. But there was something about this one that I found incredibly heartwarming and special. The story centers on a compassionate service robot named Roz that is stranded on an island. While trying to survive the harsh environment, Roz bonds with the animals on the island and cares for an orphan baby goose named Brightbill. The Wild Robot is directed by Chris Sanders, who also directed Lilo and Stitch, the first How to Train Your Dragon, and The Croods, all animated movies that I love. And this movie brings the same level of heart and storytelling that makes his previous films so memorable. The animation here is really unique, but what really got me invested in these characters is the story. This easily could be just another light children's movie with animals and a robot thrown in to highlight the obvious differences between them, but it's much more. At its core, the film is about caring for others and realizing that our differences, whether they're in metal, feathers, or fur, are only surface deep. Watching it, I was genuinely moved by what Roz and company learn about family. There's the family you're born into and the family you choose. It's also about parenting and the bittersweet experience of letting go. These are just some of the many life lessons that both kids and adults will take away from this movie. The cast does a fantastic job too. Lupita Nyong'o completely disappears as the voice of Roz, the service robot who teaches the young Gosling how to fly. And Pedro Pascal is equally great as Fink, a mischievous yet well-meaning Red Fox. All in all, The Wild Robot is a powerful animated movie that gave me so much more than I expected. Number 5, Smile 2. One of my favorite horror films from a few years ago was writer-director Parker Finn's unflinching horror thriller Smile. So when I heard a sequel was in the works, I was skeptical that it wouldn't live up to the original. But fear not, Smile 2 delivered the scares. The film follows a famous pop star played by Naomi Scott, tormented by a deadly curse after witnessing a bizarre traumatic incident. The curse forces her to endure increasingly terrifying experiences while witnessing creepy, unsettling smiles. What I appreciate most about the Smile films is how they elevate the horror genre. One of my favorite sequences in the film occurs when Naomi Scott's character, Sky Riley, is confronted by a disturbing vision of her backup dancers pursuing her throughout her home. It's both eerie and oddly entertaining, creating an unsettling atmosphere that lingers. But Smile 2 is not just about a character being tormented by a demon. At its core, it's much deeper. It's a psychological horror. We watch Sky unravel mentally, losing her grip on reality. Smile 2 may have all the typical elements of a horror movie like jump scares, gore, and suspense, but the film delves into deeper themes like guilt, loss, and the pressures of fame. The acting is exceptional as well. Naomi Scott gives an outstanding performance as the exhausted pop star, constantly under pressure to perform and meet deadlines. The success of the movie entirely relies on Scott's performance. She carries much of it on her own. As an actor, she has to balance the physical demands of singing and dancing while also evoking a sense of constant fear and madness practically throughout the entire film. For me, Smile 2 transcends the typical horror film about a deadly curse by approaching fear as unresolved psychological trauma. It reminds us that our true demons are the thoughts, regrets, and vices we sometimes can't escape. Number 4, Deadpool and Wolverine. If I had to pick one movie as my favorite movie-going experience this year, it would definitely be Deadpool and Wolverine. Everything about this movie was fun. It gave me everything I was hoping for and then some. It was packed with crude humor, tons of laughs, and non-stop over-the-top action. This time around, Deadpool gets an offer from the TVA, the Time Variance Authority, to join the Marvel Cinematic Universe. But instead of taking the offer, he recruits a Wolverine variant to selfishly help him save his universe from extinction. Ryan Reynolds and Hugh Jackman truly deliver the comedy and action, and their on-screen chemistry is simply undeniable. They've been playing these characters for a very long time, and it's clear they're having a lot of fun. This is Ryan Reynolds' third Deadpool movie, but it's his first live-action adventure in the Marvel Cinematic Universe. And admittedly, he's joining at a low point. With the direction the MCU has been going in lately, Deadpool has plenty to poke fun at. It was also pretty awesome seeing Hugh Jackman back as Logan. I thought the way that they brought him into the MCU was really clever. He comes back as this angry, self-loathing Wolverine variant who just wants to be left alone. It created some great tension between the characters that I thought really worked. Given how disastrous their first outing was in X-Men Origins Wolverine, it's amazing to see them get a second chance and finally get it right. The movie earned well over $1 billion at the worldwide box office, and it deserves it. Deadpool and Wolverine isn't just one of the highest grossing movies of the year, it's also one of the most talked about. Watching Deadpool and Wolverine go at it, knowing that they can't really harm one another, was brutal but also fun to watch. But the real highlight was seeing them team up with other characters from the 20th Century Fox superhero universe. The cameos in this movie just keep coming, and while the true MCU characters mostly show up as punchlines, some of the cameos in this film really took me by surprise. Now, from a storytelling perspective, Deadpool and Wolverine is not exactly one of Marvel's most polished or complex films. But sometimes a movie can entertain you in a way that a film with a much stronger script just can't. It's all about how much fun you have, and this one definitely delivered on the laughs. While I didn't find Deadpool's personal storyline as gripping as his previous films, I really liked that Marvel brought back many characters from the previous Deadpool movies, even if it was just for a cameo appearance. Overall, Deadpool and Wolverine may not be the perfectly crafted Deadpool joins the MCU movie that it could have been. It was still one of the funniest and most entertaining films of the year. Number 3, Heretic. Heretic is a movie that flew under the radar for most people. The story follows 2 female LDS missionaries who are forced to prove their faith after entering the home of a man who challenges their beliefs. As they try to defend their convictions, they quickly find themselves trapped in his deceptive game of cat and mouse. Heretic isn't your typical horror film. In fact, it's more of a psychological thriller, one that plays psychological games with the characters and the audience, while also delving into the terrifying nature of belief. As Hugh Grant's character puts these young women, played convincingly by Chloe East and Sophie Thatcher, through increasingly threatening challenges, the tension rises, and so does the fear for their safety. What's truly unique about Heretic is how it keeps you on edge, while making the characters in the movie and the audience question what they believe. And that's rare in genre filmmaking. The film features standout performances from Hugh Grant as Mr. Reed, a man who at first seems innocent and more interested in questioning the women's faith than outright harming them. Known for his charming roles, Grant steps far outside his comfort zone here, delivering a performance that's both haunting and deeply unsettling. Sophie Thatcher as Sister Barnes and Chloe East as Sister Paxton both give such believable performances that the tension feels absolutely palpable. Chloe East brings a certain naivety to her role while refusing to play the victim, and Sophie Thatcher has a commanding screen presence, easily portraying the more street-smart and resilient of the two. Filmmakers Scott Beck and Brian Woods direct the film with sharp precision, creating a slow but effective build of tension that hooked me right from the start. The pacing and atmosphere are so finely crafted that every twist feels earned and every reveal is genuinely shocking. Heretic is one of the most chilling and original experiences I had all year. And if you're a fan of dark atmospheric thrillers that will make you think, this one is definitely worth your time. Number 2, Dune Part 2. If you thought Dune was visually stunning, Dune Part 2 takes it to another level. The sequel picks up right where the first part left off, diving deeper into the epic saga of Paul Atreides and his destiny on Arrakis. Paul unites with the Fremen while planning revenge against the conspirators who destroyed his family. I won't dive deeper into the plot, but I will say the way Denis Villeneuve brings Frank Herbert's vision to life is nothing short of breathtaking. Part 2 is everything you could want from a sci-fi epic. Stunning visuals, intense performances, and a world so rich in detail, it feels like you're stepping into another universe. Villeneuve once again proves he's one of the best directors working today, and Timothée Chalamet is at his best here, fully embodying Paul's transformation from reluctant heir to a leader of a revolution. His performance is nuanced yet powerful. And let's not forget Zendaya, who gets more screen time this time around. Her portrayal of Shani is reserved but also compelling. Rebecca Ferguson also gives an outstanding portrayal as Paul Atreides' mother, Jessica. She presents depth and emotion, perfectly capturing the character's internal conflict and unwavering loyalty to her son. And Austin Butler's performance as the villain Feyd-Rautha is intense and captivating. He brings a sharp, menacing energy to the character, making him a formidable adversary. He embodies the character's ruthless ambition, creating a memorable villain who stands out in a movie already packed with strong performances. The action scenes are absolutely thrilling, taking the already intense stakes of the story to another level. One of the standout performances is Paul Atreides' first ride of the Sandworm. It's a breathtaking spectacle that perfectly captures the grand scale of Dune. But it's not just the Sandworm scene that's impressive. The battles and confrontations throughout the film are equally visually captivating. Dune Part 2 is a thrilling continuation to a saga that leaves you wanting more. And my number one film is Origin. While the film made its film festival debut in late 2023, it didn't receive a full theatrical release until 2024. Origin follows the unspoken system throughout history that has shaped race relations, and chronicles how lives today are defined by a cast of human divisions. Directed by Ava DuVernay, the film is a poignant exploration of identity, justice, and personal transformation. It follows the journey of real-life author and renowned journalist Isabella Wilkerson, played by Anjanou Ellis-Taylor, who grapples with the trauma of a broken system and seeks to find her voice in the midst of adversity. As she travels the complexities of her past, she is forced to confront the challenges of navigating the world as both an individual and a part of a marginalized community. What stands out about Origin is its depth of emotional storytelling. Ava DuVernay, known for her masterful handling of social issues, creates a narrative that is both deeply personal and universally relevant. The pacing may be slower than some may expect, but it's deliberate, allowing the film to slowly build emotional resonance. All the performances in this film are absolutely gripping. Anjanou Ellis-Taylor gives an emotionally raw and compelling portrayal of a woman uncovering an unspoken caste system while also dealing with deep emotional loss. Jon Bernthal adds an emotional touch as her late husband, while Niecy Nash provides an incredible balance of strength and vulnerability in her supporting role. DuVernay's direction brings a sense of urgency to every frame, making you feel the weight of each moment. The film's cinematography beautifully complements its story, creating an intense atmosphere that pulls you deep into the characters' experiences. Origin is a strikingly relevant film about confronting personal and societal struggles, and it does so with emotional honesty and power. Origin was easily my pick for the best movie of 2024 because it moved me in ways no other film did. It's absolutely a must-watch. So that's my list of the best movies of 2024. What did you think about the movies on this list? And what are your favorite movies of the year? Tell me your thoughts in the comments below because I really want to know what you think. And don't forget to like and subscribe to the Cinema Maverick channel for more content like this. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.